Hey everybody, welcome back live at Drew's House Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hope you're all doing well. We first time on the show, first time guest today. Erika Hemingway is in the house with North Shore Magazine. Good friend of mine. How are you?
Whoop whoop, I'm good.
What's
Happy
going on?
to be here.
I know, first time.
Yes, it feels good. First of all, to see you. It's been a while, and I'm happy to be here behind a mic and have the headphones back on and see what you're doing.
All right, so you're with North Shore Magazine, but yes, you're very comfortable in front of a microphone. You have like you have a fun media story. Would you like to tell it a little bit, will you?
I would love to tell my story. I feel like I've been telling it a lot lately.
Oh yeah.
But I started in radio sales. I was at your homestead at iHeart. Back then it was Clear Channel. I was actually doing it in Wichita, Kansas, believe it or not, and then came back to Boston, got to work for the radio stations I grew up listening to with Kiss and Jammin', and got to see some of the greats between Maddie and Billy and Lisa and Pup Dog and the team. And I was there for about 7-8 years. Yeah,
we overlapped a little bit, right? And we didn't even know it.
I know. Well, when we had the merger,
which was us, we joined WBZ, joined iHeart.
So during the merger, there was a lot going on at the stations, but also for me personally, I was going through separation, had a small child.
That's busy.
Yeah. Not to mention just like commuting and selling and all the other things that come along with having a job and being a parent and having a marriage. And during that time, though, when I was at iHeart, I did a lot with North Shore Magazine. I would go to the North Shore Magazine events to look for clients and see what they had for people that were sponsors. And it ended up becoming part of the North Shore Magazine family, which was amazing. So Rick Sedler, the owner of the magazine, saw me going to all of his events, and he's like, "What are you doing here? And why don't you work for me if you're going to be at all of my things anyway?" And I had a great producer at the time, Eric Cox. He had worked for Regan Communications, and then kind of saw me doing some social media, doing some video work, and he got me as part of their team to host some of their events. So instead of me going to the North Shore Night Out, for example, and talking to all the sponsors at the tables, instead of buying stuff for them, I'd be like, "Hey, come spend your money on radio." I was then interviewing them on behalf of North Shore Magazine, saying, "Hey, such and such store, why do you like being part of this North Shore Magazine events?" And then it developed into this bigger hosting opportunity for me at the magazine, and I got to host the Bonds events, which was incredible. To not only be there, but then be there representing the magazine, and then getting to interview hundreds of amazing clientele on the North Shore, from the Kelly Automotive Group, from Alan Gibley at Gibley's, from the Beauport, getting to talk to them, the owners, see their story, taste their food, sit in their cars. And then the Bonds event's kind of like the prom of the North Shore. You get to get all dressed up and beautiful and see all of your friends. And he did that 5 years in a row, and I kind of developed the sales hosting personality. And the owner of North Shore 104.9 Radio out of North Beverly, he saw that and he was like, "Okay, come host for me and sell." And then I kind of got to do a combination of both radio, have a morning show, which was incredible, and work for the magazine, and still meanwhile go through my personal life and things that were happening. But then unfortunately the pandemic kind of ruined that for a lot of us, because the businesses had to shut down, and then we lose our advertisers. And so, fast forward, here we are back at North Shore Magazine full-time and thrilled to be here.
There you go. So it was a little controlled chaos there for a little while. So many of us in the radio world know it tends to be a lot of that as you go. Is the preferred, do you like being in front of the mic, or do you kind of like the more the behind the scenes aspect of it?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the day. Because as being in front of the camera, being in front of the mic, it is so exciting, it's so fun, but it's also taxing. When you have to be on all the time, and like I said, being a parent and doing the other side of it is difficult.
I hear that's hard too, the parenting thing.
Yes. So, and then also being the behind the scenes, I like the sales part of it, and coming from a sales background, I feel like I'm always seeing, okay, how can we tie this into some kind of event or sponsorship, or how can we help the client? So I have to be careful too, because the salesperson side of me is like, well, make sure you mention your client, and don't forget to do that. So it's like the balance of content versus sales, and I'm trying to blend the two of them. So there's days where I like the sales side of it more, and then there's other days where I love being in the spotlight. I mean, I do love the attention.
I love the attention. What is the fine line of like doing the sales thing, especially for like you did it for iHeart for so many years? Like, I know there's like I'm not involved in that world. It's like people think, oh, you're all at the same radio station, you must see this. I'm like, salespeople are very much like off and running and doing their own thing, and we very much do a different thing. But it's like you kind of get the feel like it's, there's a fine line between how hard they want to push. And I know there's all this pressure too to sell. Like, how do you balance that, the pressure to get out there and sell, but also like to make sure you don't cross lines and let people get away? And
it's really difficult.
That's the battle, right?
It is, totally. It's a battle every day. And that is what I learned when I was at iHeart, and then coming to like a local radio station like North Shore, or coming to the magazine, like a local home-owned operating system. It's when we were at iHeart selling for like a corporation like McDonald's, doing the stuff that was on the ground, the media, that was the fun part. Like having the local. Once then you had to go do like the dog and pony show in front of the agency. That was fun and exciting, but there was no actual attachment to like who was speaking about the product and the local store. Gotcha. So that's when I was like, okay, I really like the local aspect of it, because I can go directly to the owner, I can talk to them, find out what's going on and how we can help them, and then develop that relationship. And now here I am 10 years later, and I can call the owner of the dealership or the store and say, okay, you've seen me, you know what's worked, you know what doesn't work, and they also feel more comfortable too. And so that's where I think is the relationship building, which is also the painful part, because it takes years. You need years for them to trust you and see like, okay, that didn't work, and when it didn't work, how did they come back and help you? And I can instead go to the owner of the magazine and say, okay, this didn't work for them, what can we do? Or they love this, can we repeat the same thing? And we have the autonomy to do that. Versus if it's just a big corporation, they're like, okay, sorry, on to the next.
See, like the small town feel of it all is
and you can you can fix things and make it better, and you can then see them out at at the Sunset Club or at the Pig or wherever it would be. You can see the owners and have that conversation outside of just, all right, sign this order for me. You can say, how are your kids? When's their birthday? What are you doing for summer? That kind of thing.
Pig is Plum Island Grill, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Which is now gone.
R.I.P.
That's where I met you.
I know, and this is what I love too, is because you and I met there originally, but then we also saw each other in North Reading, in my hometown, at the Horseshoe, which is another like. They were an advertiser of mine, and they also, that was my first job.
The Horseshoe was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were, like, I was a hostess there. My dad worked there. Right. It's that same, like, we knew the owner. Then we go to the golf tournament. Gotcha. Then we, that kind of thing. I
was supporting music that night, I think, right?
Yes, you were.
My friend was playing
there, when I love that, too, being able to see you out supporting all these venues and the musicians. Yeah. And then, I'm bringing it back, and then I have to go follow you and be like, can you buy advertising for me and Joe?
That's right. Actually, that night we laughed about it, because we didn't meet that night, but we saw each other, and then we bumped into each other like weeks later. Yeah. And I was like, I know you from somewhere. Why is it?
Yes.
And you were like, and then you actually yelled,
and I'm like,
Horseshoe Grill.
Yes. I'm doing the catalog in my brain, like, how do I know this person?
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
We all ended up on Plum Island. Yes,
exactly.
That's right. Well,
the home of the misfits.
I know. They do say that, right? Yeah. I think you were the first one to tell me that story, actually. It's very funny. We missed the Plum Island Grill, too, but hopefully they make that into something cool. Have you heard anything on that?
I have heard nothing, unfortunately.
I haven't been looking, so if I'm behind on that, then
no,
I'm sorry.
Same. But back to the sales side, we are now, the North Shore Magazine has moved to Middle Street in Newburyport, which is great, because we're now in the center of everything, and we can see, our clients can see us, we can see them, which is even better. So now we can continue that relationship, and ultimately, if they can trust us, we can trust them, and we can move along with a great, happy relationship.
Is Newburyport a strategic base, or just ease, or?
All the above.
Yeah.
So originally they had a big office in the Brickstone building in Andover. Okay. And Andover was the home base. And Andover downtown is great and has tons of businesses, restaurant stores. It's even more grown than it was years ago. But they had about 30,000 square feet or something ridiculous. And when the pandemic happened, obviously we can all go inside, we can work online, we can work on the road. They want the salespeople out on the road anyway. They want the editors out on the road writing stories. So we didn't need this space. Yeah. And so strategically, the owners chose that space. It's smaller, it's more beautiful, it's more intimate. You can have people in. We also only really need one or two people in there at a time. Yeah. And I think there was a lot of, Andover is not North Shore. People say that. I don't feel that way because I grew up there, but Newburyport, it has that more North Shore feel versus versus Andover. So it's all of the above.
That the whole mapping geography thing.
I think once you're north of Boston, I mean, and here's the thing, we really cover like north of Boston all the way out to like Lowell, Acton, and then like up to Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So that like whole circle.
And I mean, is Newburyport like seacoast? Because that's kind of, you start pushing that, right?
Yeah, I would say it is. But it's
kind of both, right?
But the benefit is we can drive to everywhere. So people that are living like in Winthrop can drive to Newburyport in an hour, or vice versa. You can get
exactly.
We are very lucky to live in a beautiful place.
It is, and it's a great walking town here.
Yes, exactly.
So people, all times of year too. I know they tried to make it a big, not that much of a winter this year, but I know even this was like voted one of the top winter destinations. It's so beautiful.
Well, I know, it looks like a Christmas card.
I know, it does look like a Christmas card.
Or like you're inside of a little snow globe and you're walking with your earmuffs on and you're holding your shopping bag.
Oh, you sold that better than the mayor. The mayor was in here and he said Christmas card, but you sold it better. That's good. Again, Erika Hemingway, North Shore Magazine, joining us. Magazine life. I think people are probably listening to all this and curious how that works in 2024 with everybody knows that the actual physical distribution of newspapers and everything is, down because of these things here.
Yes.
How does magazine life translate in 2024? Is it you guys aim towards digital, or is it mostly still that hard copy?
Both. Our hard copy is our bread and butter, and we have 50,000 subscribers that get the magazine to their home and to their businesses.
Wow.
So people are still excited. I mean, think about starting when you're a kid to now getting Amazon packages. You're excited when the mail comes, unless you're getting a really big bill.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
seems to be mostly my case these days.
You're excited when the mail comes. You're excited when that shiny copy of North Shore Magazine comes to your house, comes to your business. It also, to me, it's like a nostalgia thing. You get to have that and you get to look at it, and especially here on the North Shore, you get to see all of your friends in it.
Yeah.
And you open the page and you're like, oh my God, that's true. They wrote that story about him, or oh, that's that brand new dance studio that just opened up.
Yeah.
And now you're excited, and people treat it almost as their tour guide and their Bible, as like, this is okay. Top new restaurants, we got to go to these places because they trust in us, in the magazine, for being here for 30 plus years, plus our editor having such great experience. And I mean, she knows the top places.
Yeah.
But then it also translates all generations, because then, you've got from using my mom, for example, like she's in her 70s. She's excited to read the magazine. She has it in her purse. She gets to bring it to the nail salon. And then it has that lasting factor, because then it will stay at the nail salon for the next person, or will stay in the doctor's office, in the dentist's office.
I was going to see all the businesses around here tend to have it.
All of them. And it's almost like a badge of honor. Because you scroll them out like on your counter, and you're like, oh, that's North Shore Magazine. Oh, and let me open it up and show you my article, or let me show you my Best of award, whatever it might be.
Yeah. So
then it's not only that the showing off piece of it, but then you get to be proud and keep it. And you can't just like, yes, okay, look at, they liked my Instagram post. You have the magazine, you can come and be like, look what I have, let me bring it to you, let me show it to you. It's something you can touch and feel, versus just like, okay, I scrolled through that story, I'm on to the next thing.
Yep.
But we do have the digital edition, we do have the Instagram, which I think is a great resource too, because if you don't have the magazine on you, you're like, okay, let me go look online, what was the name of that restaurant or store or whatever it is I have to go to.
There you go. So like everything, you have to use the digital side of it.
You do, and I think you need, from being a marketer, you need a touch point everywhere. You need to see it, you need to feel it, you need to hear it.
Yeah, you end up being addicted to everything.
Well, that's, you know what? I feel like I want to not be on my phone as much as I am.
Good luck.
I know, and then, okay, again, back to being a parent, I don't want my son being on his phone as much as he is. I want him to read the book. I want to go to the library. I want to hold the magazine. I don't want to just be like, you're zoned into this screen.
Have you seen the alerts they have? Like, if you spend a certain amount of time on Instagram, it'll like...
No.
Yeah, there's like you can set timers where it goes, I don't know what the note says exactly. I think you can probably have it say chill out with this, time to walk away, or it's
like your watch is reminding you to stand up. Your phone is being like, you need to take a break.
Yeah.
Well, I think it can be detrimental.
I've felt that before. Like, it just I'm not like a huge like, especially with the TikTok, like, because I'm not a huge TikTok user, but like the first time I did it, I was like, I can easily see why parents struggle with that, because you can like get lost in that quick world of rapid gratification,
Totally. I mean, I had TikTok for a minute and I deleted it because I was like, I don't need another thing to distract me from what I need to get done.
And it's like, I'm trying to figure out, we have a lot of like the high school kids come in here, and if they're making news or whatever, doing sports or whatever. And so like Twitter, I remember, was the thing when I first started in news. Everybody, our bosses were like, everything's on Twitter. You got to be on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you don't even work here, you know? True story. Like everybody was on.
Really? Okay.
When we first started, And I was like, oh, okay, so this is like the next best thing. And maybe in some ways it did have, you know, it's still here, so a different form in X now, but it's like all the kids that came in here at one point. I remember like 5 years ago, before COVID, I was like talking to all these high school kids, and you know, we would ask them, what is on your handle? So we have an alert. Is there an alert?
We have an emergency alert system. We can hear you.
Maeve, it's in the background. It's not through the air.
I have a funny story because that reminds me now of one of the times that I was on the air at North Shore 104.9. I didn't run the board, but I was learning how to do it, and my co-host was like, I'm going to give you a test.
Sure.
I'm going to let you, run the board for this, like, one stop set. I'm going to run and get a coffee and come back. So I'm like, I got this. No problem. I do my little, outro, and it didn't turn it off.
Yeah.
And so now there are commercials running and there was music running, but I still have my mic on. Ooh. And luckily there was no one for me to talk to except for myself. But I'm like, look at me, I did such a good job. And
tell me you were actually doing that.
I'm not exaggerating. My co-host drives down the road to get a coffee and he has it on. He was like, unbelievable. I can hear you. And he comes back in and I still had the mics on and he's like, you know that it's still on? I'm like, it must still be on. So the show must continue.
Well, harmless anyway.
Harmless, yes. Nothing horrible.
I have stories like that. I remember in college we had I got started in radio on my college radio station. Brian had a great probably the best radio station I've seen on a college campus in a while. Rhode Island, Bryant.
Bryant. I'm sorry, they said Bryant. Continue.
Yeah, Bryant. And they had it's a great thing, but a super fancy, they had a great, and it went out to the area.
Yeah.
Some places are just carrier currents and it just goes out to the campus. This actually, people in the surrounding towns could actually hear you if they wanted to tune you on.
Well, I'm sure like Cumberland, Providence, they're all pretty close by.
Sure. And definitely all of Smithfield, which is where Bryant was.
Yeah.
So just like, the Boston stations, they had a good, strong station. And, but it felt sometimes like it was just maybe the kids that were out partying, your friends having fun. And that was the biggest lesson we got because friends of mine took it a little bit far one night, and I think maybe there was some, I don't know if they came in after a party or what, but some alcohol involved, and started going in directions that they shouldn't have, and just thinking nobody was listening. And the next day, they weren't there. And I remember the leader of the radio station came in and said, "This is the number one rule I want you all to remember. There is always somebody listening."
Yeah.
And I was like, it always stuck with me. I was like, oh my God, they're never going to be allowed back in here. And we never saw him again.
Oh, that's too bad.
I won't talk about the topic they were talking about.
Please,
but
off the air.
But yeah, there's that one. There's a lot of those, but
well, I we have to be careful too, and the same for the magazine. We represent the North Shore. We want to do the best job that we can. We also represent the family that's behind it, and I want to do my job to move forward and do that. So I'm thrilled to be here, and we've got so much going on this year.
Yeah, you got events.
Yes, we do. So that was what I was going to tell you is, pre-COVID, we had top-notch events. We had them, every quarter, if not every month. We took a step back because we, had to be safe and do our job. And now we're back and better than ever. We're having an event almost every single month. Wow. We're going to try and do 15 events this year. We're doing...
That's more than a month.
I know.
That's more than one a month.
We're hoping that that's the case because we're doing these real estate market watch events where we invite, local realtors and mortgage lenders to come and hear from the experts. And now the one that's coming up next is actually a beauty event. It's called The Future of Beauty. Oh, okay. It's going to be held at the Academy at Penguin Hall.
I was not invited to that one.
You can be. Oh my God, please. You want to hear about all the top beauty secrets that are happening here on the North Shore?
Yes,
please.
I do.
Okay, good. Well then, yes. Yeah. Well, at least you could we'll spiff you up. Get some Botox, maybe a little collagen.
Very intense. All right, this is March 21st. You said
March 21st. Yes, and it's held at the Academy at Penguin Hall. If you've ever been there. It is a beautiful estate turned all-girls school up in Hamilton, Wenham. It's going to be 5:30 to 7:30. We have a panel of speakers from Dr. Glavis to Anna Petropoulos. We have someone from Interlocks coming, RN Aesthetics, Roddy Med Spa. We've got the leaders in the beauty industry to tell us what is the trend, what we need to know. And I think that the women on the North Shore are dying to get this information. Yeah. And then also we're going to have like gift cards giveaway. There's going to be
nice
wine and food to be had. So your ticket, I think it's $50. It's on the website. It's on North Shore Magazine on the Instagram. And you get a swag bag to leave with. So it's a fun little night out with your girls, and you get to like listen to some of the experts on the North Shore.
That is, they're always fun. We went to what was the one we went to? The
Movers and Shakers.
Movers and Shakers.
Yes, that was fabulous.
That was I think that was my first official North Shore Magazine event.
Really?
I think so.
Oh well.
At least to like be there
Drew,
and sit through.
We need you.
Yeah, it was
all
fun.
Of them. They are fun. So that was held at the North Shore Music Theater.
Yep. Karen Essimitti's place.
With our favorite, you know, Karen is there, and that was an event to honor the movers and the shakers of the North Shore. We have our editors choose the people that are making moves, if you will, and doing great things for our community. Yeah. So it was cool to they got awards, we got to drink, we got to eat, we got to get our little swag bags and see, again, leaders in our industry. Yeah. It's like a networking event, but a party.
Yeah,
but with awards. And so it's, what more can you want?
Or whatever you want. Doesn't have to be that.
It's so great because we always we have to get together, no matter whether it's me and you, or it's my friends, or it's a client. This kind of forces us to be together. Yeah. And then you get excited because you're like, well, I can't let them down because they're going to be there. And I got to dress up because I haven't dressed up because I've been working from home for 3 years. Yeah. So and then it becomes even more because then after North Shore Music Theater, we go to Linfield Market Street and we support all of our local businesses, or we go to Daniela's, or we go to wherever it's going to be.
I forgot we did that. We did that, didn't we?
Davio's, yes. Yeah. But so again, the magazine's bringing people together and then spending money in our community. Yeah.
No, that's great. Wow, that's weird. I definitely forgot about that. That was a fun night.
Yeah,
very fun.
And then we all get safely home, and then we do it again next month.
There you go.
Oh, and then actually one more event. I know it's not coming up till June, but we have our annual golf tournament. It's going to be at the Ferncroft Country Club.
Okay.
Same thing.
Danvers.
Oh, the Linfield Danvers line. It's going to be all the people.
I'm from Danvers, that's why.
So you know.
Yeah. That was our home golf course.
Really?
Ferncroft, yeah. I was in the golf team in high school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then we need
battling to stay on the team. I wasn't that good.
Well, so do you play now?
Yeah.
Well, hello, get a foursome. Let's do it.
Okay, June?
It's Monday, June 3rd.
Monday, June 3rd.
And same thing. I mean, we had some great sponsors last year. Each hole had a different, partner that was there. From Peter from Pomodori, he had Beefy Boys, his food truck. We had A&B Burgers from Beverly giving out burgers. We had Tito's Vodka on one hole. We had Ghost Tequila on the next hole. We had
small town advertising.
Yes, well, there's a local rep. Okay?
Well, yeah, there you go. Well, going back to what started that conversation, though. That is, I mean, you are right. Like, I remember this radio station here. This was a TV station that they just did cable access, and then there used to be. Do you remember the old radio station that used to be in Newburyport?
Refresh my memory.
It was. Should I say the actual station? I won't say the actual station just because I never like doing that on different radio stations. But there was another station in Newburyport that I used to work for, and we used to do everything. We used to go cover high school hockey games. Yeah. Try to be as much community stuff as possible, and just like North Shore Magazine, it was pretty much on in every business. Like if you had a Newburyport business, you had that radio station on, and people liked it. It was like hometown pride, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So when they went away, they sold to like Bloomberg. That went away.
Yeah.
This station jumped in with the help of Sarah Hayden and whoever else. I don't know all the inside baseball, but Sarah Hayden, my boss here, merged the TV and bought this little radio station just to try to keep that presence in, and I think it worked.
Yeah.
Here we are 6 years later or something.
Well, that's what's wild is how the time flies.
Yes, it does. That's a life thing. We gotta slow down.
I know. Well,
is that possible?
No.
I can't. No,
I haven't slowed down.
Me neither.
Ever.
I do try to tell myself that, though. Do you catch yourself saying that? Like,
yes.
I don't know, whether it be certain milestones or like, wow, that seemed like yesterday. It just happened to me today. I saw something come up as a memory, and I go, that was 4 years ago.
I know. It's great. I mean, we did lose a couple of years there.
Yes.
And they're all blurry.
Explain that to me. Let's want to go through that? No.
No, please. I don't. But it does. I mean, it makes me so proud, though, to see like where we've come all together and like where I've come personally and professionally. Because when you're in it and you're sitting in it, it sucks. But then when you come out the other side and you look at the relationships you've made both professionally and personally, and you're like, look at this. Look at me. I'm a grown up. I'm doing it.
I know. It is good. Yeah, you try not to, piss too many people off along the way.
Yes, everybody's listening. Everybody's watching.
That's right. Again, Erika Hemingway joining us. She's with North Shore Magazine, office right here in Newburyport, which I think maybe a lot of people did not know, maybe.
agree. I think that people didn't know. It's right on Middle Street. We're right next to the Grog. So come on over, grab yourself a copy of the magazine, or sign up for a subscription. And then
can they just do that right in the office?
Yeah, we can take down your name and number. We can get you all situated. You can also do it online.
Yep.
It's just as easy because we have the North Shore magazine, our staple magazine, but we have North Shore Home as well, which is great for designers, builders, and the like. Because we're right next to Joppa Group too. They help design our office, and so they've been there. They've been great, and we can go to the Grog, get a drink right afterwards, and have a good time.
Grog's a great spot. I miss them not having music. You remember the music days?
Of course I do. Yes.
I mean, a lot. Again, pandemic, and they lost I know one of their owners over there passed away too. I did not know personally, but I know he was very well liked, and they haven't done music since then. And I'm still holding out hope that someday.
I know. I think we need more music venues. Have you been to the new one in Gloucester yet?
Yes, the Cut.
Yeah, I haven't been yet.
I was there for the grand opening.
Oh, nice. And?
It was great. I actually saw it before, that was literally the grand opening where they cut the ribbon and just showed you around. There was no actual music there, so I haven't seen a show yet. But you could just tell the room will be great. Yeah. And I've heard it already is with the music they're having. Actually, that was a weird night. That night I went, it was crowded there. Like people are, and new people, and basically we were going to grab some dinner, and it was kind of, this is probably not the best night to sit down for a casual, quiet dinner. So we went across the street to, what's that other place in Gloucester? Minglewood.
Yeah.
And I had dinner there. And it was a very strange night. There was like 6 people in the whole bar. And I'm looking at this guy on my left, and I'm like, who is this? Why? Politician, radio, TV, like, who is he? Who is he? John Farrell, former manager of the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, my goodness.
World Series manager.
Wow.
What do you got?
Wait a minute. I think he had gone to the opening with one of our clients, I think. The Howell Design Group. They're,
I don't know.
I think they're all friends. Forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn, but anyway, continue.
Maybe. Well, his deal now, I guess he's out of baseball, and he's a lobsterman.
No way.
It's an awesome story.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, once you have managed a team like that, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, and it's all public knowledge. It's not anything I'm speaking out of turn on.
Become a lobster fisherman.
He said it's peaceful for him. He's always wanted to do it. I can see that getting away from the game. His son's, I think, making a run at the major leagues is really good. But,
oh, wow.
But yeah, I'm just staring at this guy going, I know you and why.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear that you do that too, because I feel like the group of my friends, I'm always like, I know that person, and they're like, Erika, sit back, don't go up to them.
It'll
I'm like,
drive you crazy.
I have to go up to them. They're like, can you please sit down?
Yeah.
And then I ended up going up to them. We were in Woburn at Surf. It's
okay. I haven't been to Surf now.
They've got one in Portsmouth. They have one now in Woburn, where like the old Woburn Mall area was. We sit down, not even 30 seconds, Mikey V walks in.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, Mikey, hi. And my girlfriends are all like hungover. We're in our hats, like we don't want to be seen and talking to people. And I'm like, no, we gotta go talk to him. We're gonna go over there.
Yeah.
Like, can you just not?
You can bump into them a lot because they're around. The music personalities over there. A little bit. I mean, we're around too, the news people, but it's like I bump into the bull team. I bump into probably like once every 2 weeks. I bump into on the street.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I love Jessica. She's fabulous.
Yeah.
From the Bull, I was there from her inception of joining the team, and she's been great. And I've seen her grow too, from coming from a small town station to now. I feel like running the Bull. She's doing fabulously.
It's funny because she works little later than I do in the day. It's so weird. You know that life. Like if you work a different shift, it's not like we're coming together for like lunch parties. Like you kind of have your team and then you move on with life. I don't know her well. It's crazy.
Well, you got to spend time with her. She's a great person, great at her job, and has always been fabulous with the clients.
Very good. So Erika orders. You gotta spend time
friends with these people, okay, Drew? I'm telling you.
Yeah, so the setup over there. The WBZ wing is like it's a whole different wing of the building too. I feel like sometimes we're looked at as like the news people, very serious business over there.
Well, I will say that I think that you have a not an air about yourself, but it's a
as a station, not
me. Yeah. No, just. You're so. Okay, back real quick. I had said I was gonna put this in my calendar. You're like, sounds serious. Right. I guess I'm the serious one.
I did say that. Yeah. I say that to everything.
No, but I think it just was. It's new. And anytime something is new, it's scary. Yeah. It's daunting. So. I think that people that have worked for the station for a long time, they're like in their own way about it, and nothing against you guys. And then same for you. You're like, we're not gonna go over there if they're not gonna come to us. It's like the boys and the girls at the dance. You're like, well, who's gonna make the first move? So ultimately it has to come from above. to bring you together.
I would agree with that. Yes. No, it's funny. The that's a real thing for like young people coming into, even if they're going to work with us in the newsroom. I do remember this. I remember when I first got hired. It was a different building. We were on Soldiers Field Road at the time. But it's walking into newsrooms. Every one you ever walk into, even when I walk into new newsrooms now, just to like meet and greet, there's like it's not any more intimidation for me, but it used to be. Like they're kind of like intense places. There's certain like personalities that you never know if you want to tread lightly with these people doing whatever work they're doing. So I don't know. I always remember, and like some of the young kids that we still hire I was so nervous walking in here.
Yeah.
Like and it's like, really, I kind of forgot that feeling, but I guess, I remember it.
Well, I think for young people too, just like we talked about being on social media before, I think that taking them away from the computer, away from their phone, actually having a real conversation is so jarring for them. I remember even just hiring a babysitter, and she was texting me, and I'm calling her, and I'm like, we need to talk on the phone. Because I need to be able to I can't worry about texting. And I remember one time responding and saying K, and she's like, are you mad at me? Because apparently just one letter K means you're upset. As the geriatric millennial that I am, I didn't realize that was a thing. And now, actually, I'm thrilled that at the magazine we're really told, like, go out and meet your clients, go see them face to face. I had a meeting that I showed up to. It was a landscaping business, and he went to sign on the computer. He thought we were going to do a Teams call, and I was in his building, and he was so thrown off. He's like, oh, I was about to join the call. Like, well, I'm here. So now what? He's like, oh, okay.
People are still falling into that trap.
Sit over there. I'm like, can I come closer? I'm yelling. I'm yelling at you.
Have you noticed that? I've noticed that, especially like bosses, not necessarily in my role, but I've seen like other bosses just really struggling to get people back too. Like, it's like, why would this person do this by Zoom? Like, go meet, and I feel like there's a lot of that in the world.
It's tricky because you save a lot of time.
There are huge advantages.
By being on the computer, because the drive time really can get you. I mean, I remember just one time driving, I had a meeting in North Andover and then had to drive to Gloucester. That's an hour, and then you're there for an hour and then an hour back. So it's 3 hours where you could have had.
Gloucester's hard to get. People don't realize that. Every time, like, because like in news, they'll send you out and try to make you close.
By boat, you could get there a lot faster.
Exactly. Exactly. Which you know a little something about.
Of course.
But like Newburyport, hey, you're doing a show in Newburyport, can you swing over to Gloucester? I'm like, no. Yeah, if I had a boat, I would.
Yes.
But I can't get
Or a helicopter. Sure.
Yeah.
Send me there. Yeah. But so yes, it saves time when you're doing a Zoom call or a Teams call.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that beats that one-on-one interaction with a client to make them feel comfortable. And then you not only talk about what you're gonna do, but then you're like, oh wait, I want to talk about that event, or oh, that picture on your wall, is that Billy Joel? Do you love them? I love them? Or you have that other connection.
Things naturally happen.
Yes, exactly. Like, I mean, you're in this room and there's so many things to look at that you can talk about and bond over. Yeah. Which you wouldn't normally do.
Anything in particular you'd like to talk about?
Well, yes, everything. All of the.
Let's see,
love
who do we have? We got Charlie Carrazzo. He autographed that for us. That was something we were going to start. We're going to start having our guests sign albums, but then I realized that a lot of our guests are like Gavin's age back there, and Gavin, I'm like pointing, and we don't have movable cameras, so I know that's not great for TV. Sorry, but Gavin's album is up there too. But a lot of kids like his age, the younger ones, don't necessarily have albums that are being made for them. So I kind of figured the signing is not going to work for all of them. But
I think it's cool though.
Yeah.
And it's same thing goes back to having something to touch and feel versus having just something on the internet. Because yes, you can take a picture. You can't sign that picture. You can't. I mean, you can frame it, but then that's a whole nother printing and that kind of thing. But if you have something to take away that stays in your car, that stays on your desk, it means something.
Yeah. When I travel too, I was noticing I don't like to I was telling you off the air, we just got back from Key West, and I was noticing I don't like to read while like on a plane or anything on my phone. I like to, if I have something, I'll read it, like a newspaper or whatever. I would do magazine.
Newspaper, magazine, book. It feels better.
Yeah.
And I think again for the millennial, I feel like I want to hold something and touch something and have that.
Yep. No,
totally.
Makes complete sense. All right, Erika Hemingway, this has been fun. Your first time on the show, which is kind of remarkable. I don't know why that took us so long. Have we talked about doing this before, right?
Well, not enough, obviously.
It took so long to get on.
Now I want to come back.
Well, now, we've roped you in. First time guest, though, we do always do rapid fire.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we have to end with this. So it's the first thing that comes to your mind. Gut reaction. They're easy.
I'm nervous.
They're easy. Some people do struggle with it, but they're easy.
So just a word?
No, just you'll answer the questions. They're fine.
Okay.
Start easy. Favorite food?
Pizza.
Yep.
I have to say pizza.
I think mine too, actually, probably.
Well, I wouldn't have said one word. I love like lobster or edamame or something I have to like work for to get because it's more fun. Like I get to crack it open and do that. But ultimately, if I had one for the rest of my life, pizza is it.
Going to be a lobsterman like John Farrell?
Yes, that's next.
Next career?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? A League of Their Own.
Oh, nice one. Tom Hanks.
Yep.
And
There's no crying in baseball.
Madonna. Rosie O'Donnell. One of my favorite movies, too. Favorite TV show?
So I'm watching The Bachelor.
Yeah.
I love I'm part of
You don't have to be
Bachelor
ashamed of this. It's fine.
I love it. But you know what I'm watching that I hadn't watched when it first came out is The Morning Show.
Yeah.
And with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and Steve Carell, especially in our industry, it is so fabulous to watch, and it's very interesting, and it brings up a lot of emotion for me. So
yeah, I did the first couple seasons, and I really liked it, and then life changes happened to me, and I never went back to it. No, how many seasons were there?
I'm only finishing season 1. I think there's 3. I think there might be another one coming out soon. So
there's only 3? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I probably did too.
But it had come out right when I started my morning show too, and at the time I didn't have Apple TV. I had no money and no no place to live. So I'm now. It's really cool to watch it back. The other thing I have to say is for parents out there, I love Bluey. It's on Disney. It's like a 7-minute show. I think I've watched all the seasons of Bluey, and I love it. It's one show that I don't mind watching with my child, even though he's probably grown out of it. I'm like, let's put on a Bluey.
I've been hearing a lot of that lately. Like, what was one of the parents in our newsroom was saying, like, how they just think the Shrek movies are like the greatest. Is it Shrek? Is that right?
Yeah, Shrek is great because it applies to the kids and it has inside jokes for the.
Is that what it is? The inside jokes? Yeah, because there's like a million shows like that are designed for kids, but please the parents.
Exactly.
All right, favorite musician.
Favorite musician. Well, I've seen the Backstreet Boys the most. If you could put them in, they're a band, not a musician.
That works. That's fine.
I think that's the number one band I've seen. The most recent show I went to though was Jordan Davis at Roadrunner, which I really, really enjoyed and loved. But again, back to my age, like I remember screaming coming home watching TRL to see Britney Spears. That was she was my ultimate.
Yes.
When I was
the Carson Daly hosted TRL.
The Carson Daly. Real story.
Sure.
Side story. When I was at iHeart and I was selling for the Bull, Colton Bradford was on the Bull at the time, and we were doing some endorsements with clothing with him, and then he had another co-host, not a co-host, but a host that was in New York. And he was like, I want to get in some of the clothes. So we flew him out and we did like a little try-on clothing, like who wore it better. And then he took me to TRL in New York, like the real, now TRL. And I had a fangirl moment of like, I got to cut the line and go to TRL in my 30s. Like this is amazing.
That was an everyday home from school thing for me.
So, yes.
For like everyone, right?
Who's your favorite artist? Yeah. How do you choose?
I'm a Springsteen guy. He's always been, but there's a lot of them after that. But he's like the guy I kind of
that you love.
If I had to say.
Well, I think there's no concert I wouldn't love to go see. Like I went to the Grateful Dead. This summer there's a bunch of shows coming.
Did you go to the Fenway, the Dead and Company?
No, we went to Gillette Stadium.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And John Mayer was there. He was fabulous.
Yep.
Like that was I didn't go to Taylor Swift, and I have major FOMO for not going to Taylor Swift. After seeing it, I would never said I was a huge fan, but now I'm like, I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go to all of them.
It's funny because I'm realizing that people have very strong opinions on Taylor Swift, mostly in the rock star, I love her way, but I'm also finding this kind of in the weeds, like just nobody that people are never going to like her, and I'm like, how do you?
Really?
Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, it might be because of the football thing. Have you noticed that?
Oh, maybe. Like, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, and it's like just a lot of like, and I'm just wondering like, what is not to like about her? Like, even I get it if you're not into it. Maybe it's not the music's not for you. Fine, that's good. But like, what like to go out of your way to like hate on her? It's weird to me.
I'm surprised because I think she's a real artist and she's written a lot of her music. I know. And that's I mean, Britney Spears, I can't say that she did, but that was the timing for me. Same, I think, had we been born in the 50s, it would have been the Beatles. It would have been amazing to see them. And
she's like, that's what we're talking about with her.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, and now I'm also, now that I've worked in the media, and I think I've become a little spoiled when it comes to going to shows and seeing shows. And now I like the smaller venues.
Same.
like House of Blues, like the Roadrunner, like
Plum Island Grill.
Yes, exactly. And you want to feel special. You want to be like, I know the artist, I'm supporting the artist, and you feel good about doing that.
Yeah.
But I have to say, the one thing that was great about working at KISS was the KISS concert and Jingle Ball got to bring all the people together.
Yes.
And have all the...
A nice small concert like Jingle Ball.
Well, not small, but you got to see, like, okay, you have Pitbull and Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber, and then new up-and-coming artists all in the same place.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let me live.
How fun were those?
Incredible.
Yeah, because so those things are always on. Have they always been on Sunday nights?
Well, usually New York up Saturday nights. Okay. And that's why, and then they'd have to travel to Boston.
Gotcha, and they go to Boston. That makes sense. Yeah. We're always like recapping it the next day in the newsroom.
Everyone's still
You guys didn't come to Jingle Ball? We're like, no, we're up at 2 a.m.
Yeah. You're like, you just roll right in. You just roll from the show there.
Yeah. People don't understand that when you're on the radio in the morning. I know you do, but like outside world, it's like, oh yeah, you guys are on when we're driving to work. How does that happen? Well, we get in a lot earlier.
Yes. Well, that was when I started for the radio show on North Shore 104.9. The owner of the station at the time, he was amazing in the fact that he let me kind of have this, because I was doing sales and the show, I could show up kind of after school drop-off at like 8, and that was part of my shtick. I was this like hot mess mom that rolls in late, and I'm like, hey, I'm here, and I have like one sleeve on and like lipstick over my face, and I have coffee in my hand. But then when it became Erika and Donnie in the morning, I really had to pull it together and be there by 6 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, Mike's hot. Like, let's do this. So it took some time getting used to, and then of course by the time I got my body scheduled to waking up at 4:30 in the morning, then I had to reschedule it back. It's very difficult.
That's how it goes.
Yes. Okay. I mean, any more questions?
Final two with Erika Hemingway. Again, this is rapid. That's what I like about rapid fire. It kind of dives into every. It's not rapid, and it opens up opportunities for other topics. Favorite person. I don't mean personality. Favorite person at iHeart. You work there with a lot of big names. Who's the best of the best?
Wow.
Not counting me.
Oh, that is so hard to put me on the spot like that.
Did you notice that? She wasn't even thinking about me.
I wasn't even thinking, because we weren't there together.
True.
Oh, God, that is so difficult to say, because I had so many great people.
Who do you genuinely miss? You wake up in the day and you're like, damn it, I wish I got to spend more time with...
Well, can I do them by department? Is that allowed? Because I worked under Gail Saviano. She was my manager, and she started in the sales team with me and then became my manager, and she also had a son, and she was amazing not only as a salesperson, mentor, manager, and then also gave me like all of her boys' clothes. Like, she was great, and she'd go on the road with me. Heidi Marani, she was a salesperson there for 20 years. I was like her mini version of her. Billy Costa, I have to say, top-notch person to work with clients and to be on the sales side with me, and then as a content provider, he's amazing. Pup Dog, unbelievable. I don't have anything but amazing things to say about him. And oh God,
it's a good rundown so far. Good.
I know, like I can't.
The big boss, Dylan Sprague, always speaks highly of you.
Oh my God, yes, of course. See, Dylan, Alan, like they
kept you out of trouble there. Good for you.
They did. Well, yes, no, and seriously, because I had just come from Wichita, Kansas, and Dylan was like Kansas City, big time. So he had me
Chiefs fan.
Yeah, he had me in his office one of the first times, and I didn't even know what my relationship was going to be with the program director then, and he gave me some great advice, and I got to see the station change and see all these people change in their roles, and it's been incredible. Yeah. So that's what I have to say I miss the most is the people there.
Nope.
Versus anything else.
There you go. Last one. Very last one. Best career advice you ever received for the kids out there.
Don't burn any bridges. Because you always will need these people.
Yep.
And like I said, like we're in such a small area, and
that business, it keeps coming back around.
Exactly, and that's what I realized too. Like everyone at iHeart, and now in advertising and magazine, from TV, from Boston Mag to North Shore Mag to radio, both Greater Media and iHeart. Everyone all works together, and you have to take care of one another, even if you're having like the worst day. And that's the other thing. Other advice: you don't never know what people are going through.
Sure.
You really don't.
Yes.
Because some of them might be demanding XYZ and their hair is on fire, but you don't know what's happening with their family, with their kids, with their clients. So just be gentle.
It's a good life lesson there.
No,
actually.
it is.
Whether it be road rage or whatever.
Yes. Yes. Seriously. So those are my two things. Like, don't burn your bridges. You have no idea what everyone's going through.
Well done. Erika Hemingway, first time on the show. We enjoyed it. We've roped you into a second one now.
Yes. Sure. Okay. Well, I can't wait. I'll see you at my event.
Put it in your calendar. Yeah.
Put it in my calendar. It's going to be very serious. You're going to get a calendar.
It's going to be very serious.
Yes. I'm going to report on the news next.
Oh, very good. I like how you went into news voice there. That's excellent. Yes. Very good. Big thanks to May Power producing the show, Sarah Hayden, the boss, Ryan Rothberg, Maya Gassman, our small but mighty team here in Newburyport. Everybody's out doing a million things.
Do we have an over and out song, like a goodbye song or anything?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, good.
It's usually mixed in afterwards, but if you would like to sing something, we have musicians coming in later.
So long, farewell. What's the song from Sound of Music?
Really? That's the one you're choosing?
Yes, that's what came to my head. It's like, goodbye. Good.
Outstanding. So long, farewell. Yes. Erika Hemingway, thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Live at True's House. Peace.